You know, everyone always says Eden Prairie, Minnesota is perfect. And in 2010, in fact, Money Magazine ranked it #1 on best places to live in all of America. But I've got some honest news for you. I've lived on the doorstep of this suburb now for about 20 years. And while it does have some great things about it, there are also some things you definitely need to know before you make a move here. So today we're going to get into the pros and cons of Eden Prairie. I'm going to give you an honest assessment and my own take on this so-called perfect Minnesota suburb. And if we've never met, my name is Chris. I am 45 years old. I have spent about 35 years of my life in the southwest corner of the metro in places like Eden Prairie. I know it, and I know it very well. Myself, my business partner, our team, we like to get out into these communities and show you guys what life is like in communities like Eden Prairie. So if you are considering making a move, my friends, it doesn't matter if it's 1 month, 1 year, or something longer than that. All of our contact information is below. Drop us a line. We help people like you make a smooth move all the time. It's what we do, and we do it well. So without further ado, we are going to get into the pros and cons of Eden Prairie here and start checking out this community. What makes it awesome, but also what makes you maybe want to think about it first. Here today, I've got 4 pros and 4 cons. And we are going to start, of course, with the pros. Pro number 1, I think, is going to be the one people are expecting the most, and that is going to be the Eden Prairie School District. Year in and year out, this school ranks very well according to ranking websites like niche.com, Public School Review, and other ones out there. But they're not just high-performing schools. What really makes Eden Prairie schools stand out is the blend of rigor, opportunity, and support. So unlike a lot of these nearby school districts that will split students into multiple high schools, Eden Prairie has just one comprehensive high school, and it's one of the largest in the state. The district itself covers basically all of Eden Prairie proper, and it will sneak off into a few little pockets of Chanhassen, Edina, but it's mainly going to cover Eden Prairie. The benefit of having one big high school is it means every single student gets to benefit from the opportunities that the high school brings, and it brings a lot of them. It has over 425 different courses, including 5 different world languages, AP classes, media production, robotics, aviation electives, and a whole lot more if you still need more. But here's where it gets really interesting and what Eden Prairie does really well. It is one of the few districts that is focused on career-based internships and micro-internships for seniors. So what that means is students actually get to get out of the high school into the community and do some work. And with major heavy hitter employers in town like Optum, part of United Health Group, and C.H. Robinson, a worldwide logistics company, Eden Prairie students can get great, valuable real-world experience right at high school. Add to that, just the Eden Prairie School District is highly diverse. It's got a 94% graduation rate and a culture where nearly 3 out of 4, 75% of teachers hold master's degrees. So with all of these things coming together, you can see why this district consistently ranks in the top 3 in Minnesota, number 3 in 2025. It's a place where academics, opportunity, and community come together. And just to throw a little icing on the cake for you with the schools in Eden Prairie, if the public school district is not enough for you, Eden Prairie also has a couple of standout private options for you as well to bring some diversity to your school options. So the first is going to be the International School of Minnesota. This is a K-12 boarding school. Their students go on to some of the best colleges. It's a very rigorous academic focus. A bit more to it, but for the purposes of this video, just know that's out there and that's an option for you in Eden Prairie. Also is going to be the PIM School of Arts. This is a tuition-free high school, grades 9 through 12, focusing specifically on the arts. And again, no tuition. You can also find that in Eden Prairie, so no shortage of great school options. Well, if pro number 1 was the schools, pro number 2 is going to be the parks. And my friends, I'm just going to call this green space, parks in general. And just to get an idea, you can see it right away. Take a look at the satellite overhead image on Google Maps of Eden Prairie and just look at the green space already. There is green space tucked into neighborhoods. And what makes this really cool about Eden Prairie is just how well integrated into the neighborhood's nature is. You will find little lakes You're never far from a walking trail, wooded path, something like that. So the city itself actually has about 1,000 acres of formal parkland, 44 individualized parks. Most of them are going to be in the form of smaller neighborhood parks. You will find some bigger ones like Bryant Lake, Starkey Lake, which we've covered in some of our other videos. But some of these bigger spots like Bryant Lake, like Starkey Lake, they offer everything, you know, from disc golf, kayaking, fishing, playgrounds, splash pad. That's just the summer stuff. Winter activities, you're gonna find skiing, skating, snow tubing, and a whole bunch of other things as well. So these parks function 4 seasons. Right down in the heart of the city, right down in Eden Prairie Center, you've got Purgatory Park Pavilion, which is a very nice little park. Big pavilion, splash pad, fountain, super cool little Veterans Memorial, and a really nice loop that goes all the way around that lake. And kind of like Bryant Lake, you can park at Purgatory Park Pavilion, walk on the trails, and that will link you up directly with Starkey Lake Park as well. So pretty cool. My favorite personally, just local perspective, I like Bryant Lake Park. I love having the lake right there. It's a really pretty spot. My kids love it. And you know, if you've got a dog, which I had, pro kind of insider tip, what makes Bryant Lake Park, you can go to the park, park your car, and as you can see, you can hop out, take a little walk yourself, walk your dog right over to this off-leash dog park, which is a really nice, really big one. We're not talking some 100 by 100 yard enclosed pen. Several acre dog park. Let the dogs run and take a walk back to your car. So parks, green space, definitely one of the pros and highlights of Eden Prairie. All right, we are not wasting time and moving along to pro number 3, and that is going to be the employment market, job market, and frankly, economic opportunity you will find in Eden Prairie. So unlike most of its suburban brethren, where you're probably commuting downtown Minneapolis to St. Paul or maybe into Eden Prairie to work, Eden Prairie actually punches way above its weight here in this one. So we'll touch on that for just a little bit about it. EP itself's got over 2,800 businesses. The community itself supports over 50,000 jobs, making it one of the most employment-rich suburbs in all of the Twin Cities metro. So just know that, number one. It's got some big employers in town, and we're going to list off the top 5 of them for you just quickly. Number 1, largest one by far, is going to be Optum. That is a division of the massive United Health Group. That's going to be followed closely by C.H. Robinson, global logistics firm down in southern part of Eden Prairie. Next, LifeTouch / Shutterfly, you will find also right here in Eden Prairie. Starkey Hearing Technologies, largest hearing aid manufacturer in North America. And rounding out the top 5 is going to be Super Value, all in the metro, all in Eden Prairie. So, and just one other interesting, nugget on the job scene and economy in Eden Prairie, because this is very relevant. So an interesting part of town here is called this little area called the Golden Triangle, which is this sandwich of land sandwiched in between highways 212, 169, and 494. This section has over 10 million square feet of office space, and 20,000 people commute in and out of this little area on a daily basis. So Golden Triangle is a small part of Eden Prairie with a massive contribution, lots of opportunity right in there. And last thing, just kind of tied to all this, so in 2027, Eden Prairie is going to become the terminus endpoint for the new Green Line light rail, which is going to connect downtown Minneapolis to Eden Prairie in about 30 minutes. This is going to have 4 planned stations. Southwest Station is going to be the endpoint, City West, Golden Triangle, Eden Prairie, and then it's going to move up into Minnetonka and St. Louis Park, connecting those communities as well. So professionals, remote workers, things like that, the addition of a mass transit hub is only going to add to this already very strong point of Eden Prairie. We are going to put a bow on this with pro number 4, and this one might not surprise anyone because this is what Eden Prairie is absolutely known for, and that's just bringing a massively strong quality of life to the table. We opened this video talking about it. At one point, Eden Prairie was called the best place to live in America by Money Magazine. That was back in 2010. Niche.com gives it an A+ rating overall. And friends, that recognition comes from a blend of things. It comes from public safety, beautiful public spaces, parks, great infrastructure, strong schools, and really good community engagement. So just breaking this down just a little bit, Eden Prairie has a very low crime rate, according to websites like Home Snacks, which uses FBI crime data to to come to their conclusions. They've got a very responsive and very community-focused police department, which is part of the reason for that. There's a genuine interest in public infrastructure down in Eden Prairie. There's a lot of jokes about potholes in Minnesota, and those jokes exist for a reason, I will tell you that. But roads, things like roads and infrastructure, the light rail is another great example. Parks are spotless. The city has an absolute state-of-the-art community center with fitness programs, rinks, and a whole lot more. For families, it's just a very clean, safe environment with top-tier amenities, all that are pretty much just minutes from home. Another thing that really makes Eden Prairie a bit different than some of the surrounding communities is its diversity and inclusion. I talk about this openly in some of our other videos. Minnesota, we need to work on our diversity, and we are getting better. But Eden Prairie already does a really good job with this. The EP school district, I believe, is 50% minority by students, and Eden Prairie has a very growing and vibrant mix of cultures, and that's reflected in from like the school demographics, like we just talked about, to community events, and then even unique retail hubs like the Asia Mall, which popped up in 2022. One of the most culturally vibrant hotspots in the whole Twin Cities is the Asia Mall, right in Eden Prairie. So it brings a lot to the table. Whether you're raising kids, working remotely, Eden Prairie really does have a very good mix of suburban comfort with real opportunity, making it feel like the fantastic place to live that it is. All right, so how are we doing? Eden Prairie is sounding pretty good so far, right? And yeah, Eden Prairie is pretty good. However, no place is perfect. And before you start packing your bags and deciding you might want to move to Eden Prairie, even this picture perfect place has a few quirks and maybe some things that you won't love. So now it's time for everybody's favorite part, the things that might annoy you, or the cons of Eden Prairie. Let's get into con number one. Well, because Eden Prairie is such a great place to live and very popular, it's going to bring us right into con number one, and that's going to be a challenging real estate market. Now, it's not so bad I would let it scare me off, but it's going to be a bit more expensive and a little bit more competitive than some of the other cities. So we're going to jump in and just take a quick look at a high level of what this Eden Prairie real estate market looks like. So we are just going to hop in here and just take a look at some real estate numbers in Eden Prairie. I figured that's kind of a helpful way to show you guys kind of just how competitive and frankly pricey this market can be. So we are looking at all property types, and I just figured this would be a good comparison. So this line down here is going to be the Minneapolis, St. Paul, Twin Cities region at large, and then we've got Eden Prairie and a few of what I would call its heavy competition in the Southwest Metro. So average home price, median home price in the Twin Cities Metro as of July 2025, we can see here, my friends, was $386,000. Eden Prairie, almost 100 grand more, so more expensive, not quite as much. You can see Eden Prairie here is chasing Minnetonka at 505 and Edina way up here at 650. This is condos, townhomes, single family homes, okay? So single family home in Eden Prairie, 465. Now, when we change this to an actual, the property type of a specific single family home, watch what happens to the median value in Eden Prairie. So number one, Edina, you're insane, up here at $855,000 for a single family home in July of 2025. But look at Eden Prairie and Minnetonka right down here. Minnetonka at $600K, Eden Prairie at $620,000 for a single family home, again compared to the rest of the Twin Cities Metro down at $4. So Eden Prairie, I mean, somewhat 30% more expensive to get a single family home compared to the rest of the Twin Cities Metro. A couple other thoughts on Eden Prairie as well. It's mostly built out at this point, so you're not going to find, same with Edina, Minnetonka, you're not going to find these stretches of lots of new homes being built. So new construction is very limited to, things like scrapes. People build a new one here and there, but you're not going to find new development. So not much new construction in Eden Prairie, which means not a lot in the way of builder help, builder rates, builder incentives, and that kind of thing. And for true single family homes, there is not a lot under 400K out there. So it can be competitive. This is a market, if you're going to get into, you want to have your ducks in a row, you want to have an agent. So it is this competitive because of how awesome it is. But again, home prices, competitiveness, definitely a realistic downside. Con number one of Eden Prairie. So we're going to get into con number two here, and to me this is one of the biggest drawbacks of Eden Prairie, especially where you are coming from. So Eden Prairie has a lot going for it, but one of the biggest drawbacks is it is definitely a car-dependent layout. With over 170 miles of trails, it sounds fantastic, but the issue is those are mainly for recreation, which is great, not so much for commuting. So if you are planning to live here without a car or rely on public transit alone, it can be tough. Eden Prairie is a planned community, so the city's layout was actually designed around driving. And what you'll really start to notice is shopping centers, restaurants, commercial hubs, even schools for the most part, are largely segmented off from the residential areas. So if you want to go grab a coffee, run some errands, there's a pretty good chance you're going to have to hop into the car to go and do. Light rail coming in 2027, as we mentioned, that will definitely help. There's going to be 4 stops alone in Eden Prairie with that, so that will definitely bring another strong public transit option. But even then, you're likely going to still have to drive or hop on a bike to get to these stations unless you happen to coincidentally live right next to one of them. So for now, owning a car in Eden Prairie, I'm not going to say it's essential, but it's pretty close. And I wouldn't call it a deal breaker for most people, but especially depending on where you're coming from and compared to a lot of other urban areas, coming from a walkable city, definitely something you're going to want to think about. All right, we're going to move into con number 3 and 4. And just to be real with you guys, cons 2, 3, and 4 are all going to be closely related. And I'm sorry, Eden Prairie, but I'm going to slap you around here a little bit for these last 3 because I think there's significant things to be aware of. So another thing to consider about Eden Prairie, it is a planned community, which definitely has its pros and cons, but this is the con section, so we're going to talk about the drawbacks. Because much of the cities was developed from the 1970s and onward, it was designed around subdivisions, cul-de-sacs, and commercial zoning that really strive to keep residential, retail, and office areas separate. And you can really see that even when you look on Google Maps. Residential areas are really separated from commercial aspects. So that means what you're not going to have, just like Minnetonka, you are not going to find a charming, walkable downtown with historic storefronts and things like that, like you might around 50th and France and Edina. Even downtown Hopkins, Excelsior, Wayzata, all have great, proper downtowns. The city can definitely feel a little bit uniform. To me, it feels like quintessential suburbia. The neighborhoods can feel somewhat cookie cutter. You do get a good variety of real estate, so I'm not going to say you don't find too many subdivisions where everything looks exactly the same. But this also impacts lifestyle, right? If you want to walk from home and coffee, hit the farmer's market, probably not happening in Eden Prairie. You're most likely got to hop in the car. That kind of experience is just going to be very limited in Eden Prairie. Families, the layout works beautiful, but for buyers who want charm, spontaneity, historic downtowns, walkability, organically grown neighborhoods, Eden Prairie might feel a bit polished, for lack of a better word. Safe, practical, beautifully managed, but if you're chasing that Main Street vibe, Eden Prairie is going to come up short. You've made it, almost. We are at con number 4, and like I teased with con number 2 there, 2, 3, and 4 are all going to be closely related. This one to me, for Eden Prairie, this one bugs me. It might be a big deal to you, it may not. So, if nightlife and entertainment are high on your list, Eden Prairie, I can tell you right now, is going to come up short. The city has a handful of few restaurants. To me, the best restaurant is Wildfire, which is in the mall. How often do you find the best restaurant in a mall? And I think that is a harbinger of things to come if the best restaurant is in the mall. So you'll find a handful of restaurants. You'll find some great happy hour places like Crave, Tavern 4 and 5, but Eden Prairie is not known for the after hours scenes. Honestly, just about everything is closed by 10 p.m. Bar closed in Minneapolis, the state of Minnesota, you can be open till 2 a.m. I think there is one place in Eden Prairie, and I think that's Champs, the national chain, that's open till 2 a.m., and I think that's only on Friday and Saturday nights. Town's pretty much dark by about 10 p.m. otherwise. No true downtown like you're going to find in Hopkins, Excelsior, Wayzata, which means a lot of these bars and restaurants, they're chains, they're not standalone, they're attached to the mall. And the good news is you can drive 15-30 minutes to downtown Minneapolis, Excelsior, Wayzata, parts of Edina, or Hopkins from Eden Prairie. So you can get to these places pretty easily, but you're not going to find too many of them in Eden Prairie. For many people, this is obviously not a big deal. It's really about what you're focused on. This city is focused on quality of life, schools, nature, and more family amenities. But singles, young professionals, anyone used to a more dynamic nightlife scene, places like St. Louis Park, Edina, the North Loop in Minneapolis might offer more variety for you in that nightlife, and as far as nightlife, restaurants, things like that. So something to keep in mind with Eden Prairie is that nightlife and dining scene, my friends, it leaves something to be desired. There you have it. Eden Prairie bringing its 4 big pros to the table: the schools, the parks, the economy and jobs, fantastic quality of life. Challenges you might find in Eden Prairie are going to be, again, can be a challenging and competitive real estate market. Need a car to get around. It's a planned community which offers some drawbacks, and it definitely suffers from a major lack of nightlife. That being said, there is no place that is perfect. I do think the pros outweigh the cons, especially when you consider Eden Prairie's proximity to some places like Minneapolis, Edina, that will solve some of these nightlife issues and make things a bit more interesting. So if you're raising a family, relocating for work, looking for a lifestyle upgrade, this suburb, while it does have some challenges, also has a lot to offer. So thank you for joining me, my friends. It is a Thursday afternoon. I am going to get outside. My name is Chris. As always, our contact information is right here. It is also below. If you're thinking about making a move 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, it does not matter. We help people like you make a move to Minneapolis all the time. Drop us a line. We'll see you.